let's go to Abuja. That's the FCT capital. That's the venue for the 19th edition of the National Sports Festival. Orok Duke is the chairman of the Cross River State Sports Commission. Joins us now live on the program. Good evening and welcome to Sports Tonight.
Good evening, Austin.
Good to have you on the show. Let's talk about the 19th edition of the National Sports Festival. Finally, it has come. With what you've seen, what's your take so far?
Well, I said before when I received the torch on behalf of Cross River State that it was a matter of sadness and joy. I mean, sadness in that the main hope of having Cross River State host the sports festival, Calabar especially because football, hockey, and cricket began in Calabar as far back as 1902. And to honor us and celebrate the amalgamation of Nigeria, the games were to be held in Calabar, and it was tagged Centenary Games, just to recognize the importance of Calabar in the coupling of Nigeria as a country. Unfortunately, we couldn't meet the challenges, and it was not in the present regime of Senator Professor Ben Ayade. We came and inherited, and we want to say a big thank you to the federal government because they were benevolent enough when we couldn't meet 2014. It was shifted to 2016, thereafter 2018. But unfortunately, due to paucity of funds and all, we could not meet up. And it was taken over and brought to Abuja. And His Excellency, Senator Professor Ben Ayade, took up the gauntlet and decided to bid for 2020. Because when we received the invitation from the Honorable Minister for Sports Development, Dalong, he now called me up and said, look, we must bid for whatever had happened in the past, for whatever had caused us not to meet those challenges. His Excellency is ready now to go full throttle. So I came to Abuja with a letter. Of course, we have an acknowledgement today from the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development acknowledging the bid from Cross River State to host 2020. Actually, we've even tagged it Paradise Games. So we are ready to go. And His Excellency has promised to put everything in place by or before that date. We are just expecting a response.
So I see it's mixed feelings for you seeing Abuja host the games and Cross River State is hoping to get it back again. But let's talk about...
I say sadness and joy, yes.
Yeah, let's talk about what you've seen on the ground. Facilities, preparations in general. You're pleased with what you've seen?
Yes, so far so good. But there is a little bit that they would have added, especially during the opening ceremonies. If they had added that participating states should come with one or two cultural dances to showcase their culture, we would have had the event like times 36 states. It would have been more colorful. And of course, you know, Cross River State, we are up there in Carnival and all these shows. We would have brought maybe 4 masquerades or dances.
Were you saying you would have loved to see a different opening ceremony?
Yes, I mean, it was very discouraging. It was discouraging. The mere fact that it was organized by FCT and federal government, they would have incorporated other experienced personnel from across the country because we had the march pass, and by the time the Honorable Minister made a speech, the whole stadium was empty, only those of us who were in the VIP. What I would have loved them to have done, since it's in the past now, would have been to include 1 or 2 cultural dances from the participating states. It would have been more colorful. Like we came in our traditional Onyonyo and Okpompom and everything, Cross River, just to showcase the beats. I know this is a prelude to the upcoming Calabar Carnival. So If we had done that, we would have had a more colorful event. Be that as it may, the mere fact that for 6 years nothing had happened, a child that was 15 years had grown up to now 21, I mean, we have to commend the federal government for having taken up the challenge. But we regret the fact that the money so released would have been used to support Cross River State to host, because we had issues of provision of facilities, which we had begun. The government then released a total of 13.6 billion. I mean, that was a good effort. And we called on the federal, at a point we were even looking for 500 million to host, but the money was not forthcoming. Of course, you know the unique situation we found ourselves in Cross River State. We lost Bakassi, we lost the 76 oil wells. We are like up down there, barely paying salaries. So we needed all the support. If the federal government really intended to honor us, they would have gone the whole hog. I mean, but be that as it may, His Excellency Senator Professor Yade has decided to bid again.
Okay,
let us see, because that
let's talk about your contingent at the National Sports Festival. So I know Cross River State came with about 50 or 55 athletes, and you just said back in the day you were respected in football, cricket, and of course hockey. So in what sports should we be looking out for Cross River?
I must confess that we came with just 9 sports. We came with athletes in weightlifting, wrestling, table tennis, boxing, karate, taekwondo, and swimming, then Scrabble. Those are the 9 sports.
So hopefully we'll still see Cross River State do well at the games. Let's talk about this you're hosting now that you want to talk about. Infrastructure is a major problem to sports development in Nigeria. And I know when Cross River State was trying to host the National Sports Festival, infrastructure was also a major issue. And there was a time we had the stadium collapse. What is Cross River State doing now? Because 2020 is not so far away. You guys have indicated interest to host again. Is Cross River State ready this time around?
What collapsed was the indoor sports hall. Obviously, the contractor did not have the expertise, and the indoor sports hall collapsed. So His Excellency directed that everything should be scrapped and rebuilt. It's just an indoor sports hall for multiple events, basketball, table tennis, badminton. But what we have put in place, and we are still, it's an ongoing idea and project. We are trying to create training arenas for the different sports. And thereafter, we will have the indoor sports hall, the new one, that will be able to accommodate other multiple events. So we have those facilities there. We have provided over 70% of the facilities, excluding indoor sports hall. And we have the stadium is ready. Even now, we can host an event. We have the swimming pool, the biggest in the country. Now we have 9 lanes. And it was just the indoor sports hall that was remaining. In terms of accommodation, we have enough facilities to accommodate the whole country. So we just needed that little perk from the federal government. It was not forthcoming, sadly so. But we are now ready, and we will be able to do it by ourselves. Okay. So His Excellency has promised.
All right. So
that is why we came and brought to Abuja our bid